Hey everybody, Ed Homewood, Old Guy Hi-Fi channel. I hope everyone's doing well today. Today should be a fun little review. We're going to take a look at the Aiyima A80, a little desktop integrated amplifier with built-in DAC and some neat features. It's been reviewed before, but this is my first look at it. So anyway, sit back, relax, and we'll get going on this review. So what is the Aiyima A80? Well, it is a really nice integrated amplifier with built-in DAC and a bunch of other features we'll talk about in a minute. Currently, it is on sale at Amazon for around $206, $207, marked down from $20.29. Now, Aiyima sent me an email overnight, because obviously they're in China and the time difference, saying that there was going to be a flash sale on this product on Amazon, and either at the end of the month or May 1st, I don't know. I'm filming this on the 28th of April. 2025. So there will be a flash sale. It's already marked down from $229 on Amazon right now. I don't know if that's a flash sale or not, but that is all as of this day. So anyway, let's talk about this thing a little bit more in depth. Well, as you saw in the B-roll, I used the Aiyima A80 just by itself. I didn't need anything else because it's got a decent DAC in it. It's got a great amplifier in it. It's got a lot of good it goes intos and goes outas, and I was just running it off my PC via USB, running the ELAC Debut 3.0 B. Are they B3 or DB53s? Really nice speaker. $250. It's a great combination with this. And so were the Philharmonic True Mini monitors, by the way, at $380. So anyway, the thing I like about this latest generation of TI-based Class D amplifiers using this TPA 3255 is they've introduced this new circuitry called PFFB. It actually stands for Post Filter Feedback Circuitry, and it was developed by TI, and I think it really increases and really ups the performance of these Class D chip-based amplifiers. What PFB does, or PFFB, excuse me, basically it's a feedback loop, but it's on the output stage, not the input stage. So it's not like global negative feedback, which if you saw a recent review of mine, I really got into. Anyway, it uses what's called an LC output filter. Now, L stands for coil or an inductor. C stands for capacitor, and it's just a passive circuit, and it's placed between the amplifier's output stage and the speaker. Now, if you've ever seen the modulus of impedance of a speaker, it's all over the place, especially, if it's a porta box, it gets different at tuning frequency and so forth. If you've ever watched any of Danny Ritchie's stuff on GR Research, he talks about those impedance modulations. Now, on a Class D amplifier, it doesn't like to see impedance differential. It doesn't like to see the changes. It wants to see a constant thing. So what will happen is, as the impedance changes on the speaker, the output of the amplifier will change in response to it, and you'll induce distortion and all kinds of other things. Plus, the other nice thing about post-filter feedback is, because it's placed between the output and the speakers, it actually gets rid of a lot of that high frequency switching noise that Class D amplifiers. In the past, everybody complained about Class D sounding digital or glary or whatever. Well, this new PFFB circuit eliminates a lot of that high frequency switching noise, because remember, Class D amplifiers switch at a super high speed. Unlike a Class A amplifier, which is on all the time and you vary the input, with Class D, it isn't on all the time, but it's on in really high speed pulses, and then when there's no signal, it's not on. When there's signal, obviously it responds to the incoming sine wave signal. So the LC filter really improves not only the sonic performance by reducing distortion and everything else, but it gets rid of that switching noise, and it makes these little small Class D amplifiers actually sound quite good and very livable. I really like it. One of the other things Aiyima did, which I thought was nice, is they used a JRC NJW 1194 electronic volume control control chip. Now, on that chip gives you your volume level, but it also gives you input switching control, and it also gives you built-in tone control. So one little chip saves space, keeps these things small, and gives you a very linear, very accurate volume control, plus the nice feature of being able to switch your inputs through that same chip and having bass and treble controls in there. So anyway, let's do this. Let's look at the front panel up close. We're going to look at the back panel. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to talk about some swappable op amps, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the music I used and what my final thoughts were. Well, here we are looking at the front panel of the Aiyima A80. I'm going to go ahead and power it up from the remote control. Actually, let me take a moment and show you the remote real quick. So we've got power, we've got mute, up, down for select, return, brightness, just a direct access to mute, to turn the display off, menu access, select inputs, and then volume up and down. So we're going to use the remote control and power it up, and you'll see it go into its wake up phase. And then what I'm going to do is, since you don't need to see the knob, I'm going to reconfigure here real quick, and we're going to look really closely at the display. Well, here we are close up on the display of the A80. You can see our selection in the bottom here, USB, PCM, and 48K, and then this is a volume bar. Sorry, I bumped the camera. And then the VU meters. Now, I'm going to go ahead and increase the volume from the remote control, and what you'll see is as the volume goes up, the activity of the meters will increase, because actually the meters are just showing volume, not necessarily just the signal. And I think that's a little bit of a shortcoming, but it is what it is. So now what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and I'm going to press the little light bulb you saw on the remote control. That just turns the display on or off, so we'll turn it back on. And unfortunately, it brings it back to a dimmer setting than was on there. So we're going to push menu, and we're going to go in, and I'm going to go down to the light, and I'm going to go ahead and increase the brightness of the display so we can actually see it. And we'll come back out and you'll see it's much brighter. So now when you push the menu button, it brings you into this menu, and you can use the up and down buttons on the remote to go through it. So if we go to input, it shows our various inputs, right? Very simple, RCA, TRS, etc., etc. Now I have to push the return button. It brings me back to the default display, and then I have to hit menu again to get in it. Then the down button takes me over to the tone, and we've got bass and treble. And again, the return key takes us back to the main display. Menu button again. We can go down to light, and that's where we were for adjustment, or we can go over to style, and that actually allows you to choose which VU meter style you want. So right now we have the black dark VU meters on. We're going to go to the spectrum display, hit enter on the menu, and you'll see there it is displaying away. Now hit the return. If I hit the menu button again, it brings me back to style. Hit that menu button again, and I can go and choose, let's say, the large single VU meter display, and there we go. Pretty simple. And then of course the select button gives me direct access to all the various inputs and so forth. Anyway, that's a look at the front panel of the A80. Let's spin it around, look at the back, and then we're going to crack it open and look inside. Well, here's the back side of the A80, and this is really interesting. It has two TRS inputs, so it has balanced audio inputs, but remember, TRS is a 1/4 inch jack. This is the Bluetooth antenna here. We've got USB-C input because of the DAC. It has optical in, coaxial in, and then line in, which I think is great, especially if you got one of these new little portable CD players. We've got 12-volt trigger, and we've got an auxiliary out on 3.5 millimeter, and as I mentioned, that is variable, and you can use it to drive a subwoofer, which I do. I use it to drive the Aiyima A80X, our speaker terminals, and our 12-volt input. So that's a look at the back panel. Let's open this thing up and see about swapping op amps. Well, I wanted to give you a little bit of a tip if you're going to roll op amps in this. There are 2 screws on either side. You need to undo the nut for the volume control. There's 4 screws on the back panel, and there are 2 screws on the bottom. Now what's unique about this piece, and I'm going to try and make sure I get it all in the same frame, I apologize, is the front panel comes off, and you'll see it has a very large ribbon cable. That's really important because as you pull the back off, and by the way, leave the Bluetooth antenna on. It helps hold the back panel to the rest of the circuit board. And as I pull this out gently, it hangs up a little bit on the amp chip on the bottom where the heatsink is, but I'm going to try and stick this in sideways a little bit so we've got some room. And we're not going to disconnect that cable. So let me do that a little bit and pull it out. And there are our op amps right there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on those for you real quick. So there you can see the op amps. So you can swap out anything you want to. The unit is actually really well constructed. I mean, we've got Rubicon caps. These are all Rubicon caps. WEMA capacitors. Really nice layout for the DAC board. It's separate from the rest of the board. And you can roll op amps. I tried, and I've got the stock ones in there right now. I tried the SX52Bs in there, and it was really good. I don't know that I would spend the money on putting Bursons in there or Sparkos in there, honestly. I mean, this is a nice amp and sounds really good with the stock op amps, but I did try the OPA 2134s, the Burr Brown 2134s, and that sounded really good. That is rapidly becoming my favorite op amp for amplifier circuits. Now in DACs, a little bit different, Bursons, Sparkos, all that stuff starts making sense. Anyway, so that's a look at the inside of the Aiyima A80. I'm going to button this thing back up, and I'm going to tell you what I thought about it and some of the music I used when I tested it. So for the music I used for testing this, and I used a lot of different stuff because it was on my desktop for a while, is I used this playlist from a friend of mine named Brock Gerling. It's called Brock's 80s Extravaganza, and Brock has a YouTube channel called Audio Tribune. Go check it out. He kind of does headphone stuff and desktop stuff, and he's just getting started, so give him a break. I mean, I go back and look at some of my beginning videos, and they're really embarrassing. But anyway, check out Brock's channel, Audio Tribune. So his playlist is full of, I mean, there's hours and hours and hours of stuff on there, and it's all great 80s stuff. Now, I was in my 20s, and actually in my early 20s in the 80s, and so it was a real, you know, we were at clubs and stuff like that. Now, I lived in Philadelphia at the time, and so this band, Hooters, was a huge band in the Philadelphia area. They were formed in Philadelphia in 1980, and they were really cool in that they blended kind of rock, folk, reggae. They had really good, strong pop hooks in it, and they really gained a lot of recognition. Kind of had a really energetic and unique sound, and they used instruments like the melodica, which was nicknamed the Hooter, hence the band's name. The song "And We Dance" came out in 1985, and it was their real breakthrough hit from the album Nervous Night, and it really became one of their signature songs. It was known for being really upbeat, you know, feel-good vibe, catchy chorus. The song, you know, captures the sense of kind of youthful freedom and enthusiasm, and, you know, really lively rhythms and really interesting lyrics, and it was pretty easy to dance to because we, you know, used to go to the clubs when I was younger, and it really helped establish the Hooters as a kind of a mainstream band, and it got a lot of attention on MTV. They were featured very heavily on MTV, and certainly in the Philadelphia area, very heavily in the radio, in the song rotation on radio. One of the interesting things is Rob Hyman, one of the co-founders of Hooters, wrote a song that Cyndi Lauper had a gigantic hit, and it was called "Time After Time." And of course, you know, I'm a Miles Davis fan. That became part of his regular concert playlist, was "Time After Time," and again, written by Rob Hyman, co-founder of the Hooters. So what did I use next? So the next track I used on the playlist was this track from Howard Jones called "Things Can Only Get Better," and this is off his 1985 album Dream into Action. I've always been a big Howard Jones fan, starting with his first album Human Lib, and then the next album One to One was great. That was excellent. This song is really upbeat. It's synth driven. It's got a great groove to it. It's got good hooks in it. It's very optimistic. It's encouraging the listener to stay optimistic even if things are a little bit difficult. And the music is very upbeat. It's very catchy. It really is. I just think it kind of captured that spirit of the mid 80s pop, you know, and Howard Jones was one of the big stars of that. Again, most of his stuff was very upbeat, very optimistic, very catchy, super danceable. I mean, we danced to a lot of his stuff in the clubs in those days. Can you believe me, in a club? I was in a club. Anyway, so that's a great track from Howard Jones, "And We Danced." So now let's talk about what I thought of this thing sonically. So what did I think of the performance of the Aiyima A80? I'm really impressed. I think this very compact size, it's a great solution if you don't have a lot of room on your desktop. It's got your DAC built in, it's got line in, it's got remote control, it sounds really good, it's got bass and treble, it's got fun VU meters for sure, and it really is nice. I think it does quite well. Now, obviously I used it primarily in the desktop, and I used it with the ELAC. These are the Debut 3.0. I think they're the B53s, the 5 1/4 inch bookshelf version, and that was a really good combination. I also tried them with the AQ Labrador speakers, which I have, and I'll insert pictures of that stuff here. And I also tried them with the Philharmonic True Mini monitors, which is, you know, one of my mainstay desktop speakers. It performed well with all of those. It sounds good. It's clean. It's crisp. The DAC is a decent implementation. As most of you guys know, I'm not a big ESS DAC fan, but this one sounds good. I think they did a good job with it. And rolling the op amps did help, but stock out of the box, I'll tell you what, if I never rolled the op amp, I would be just as happy with it. It really is quite good. The op amps give it just a little bit of extra detail, I think, especially with the, one of my favorites, the NOS Burr Brown 2134s. I think that sounds really good in an amp. The SX52B sounded good in an amp, but again, let's, you know, I can't recommend spending as much on your op amps as the amp itself costs. So it performed well, it performed really well with the stock op amps. It improved slightly when I rolled op amps, and I was well pleased with it. So anyway, the Aiyima A80, I think this thing is compelling. I think it's really nice. And if you've got a limited amount of space, or you want to do like a second system in a bedroom or something where you really want to keep it small and just very easy to use, I think this is a great solution to that. So anyway, the Aiyima A80. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you'd be willing to give me a like and your subscription. Thank you so much to my members, my subscribers, and my viewers. The channel's doing wonderfully well, and I owe you guys. It's all because of you, I promise. Anyway, there will be an affiliate, full disclosure, affiliate link to this product to Amazon. And again, as I mentioned earlier, there's going to be some sort of flash sale either the very last day or end of April, beginning of May. I'm not sure exactly when. Like I said, if I can find out, I'll put some information in the pinned comment and in the video description. So there will be an affiliate link for this in the pinned comment and the video description. If you wish to join the channel, become a member, you can. There's a link in the pinned comment and in the video description. And someone asked what channel membership gets you. Well, for as little as 99 cents a month, because I couldn't make it any cheaper, actually you'll get early access to all the videos, you know, either a day or many hours in advance. I also have a members only email address that if you need some suggestions on product, you have some questions, you know, the comments are great, but I can't answer them, and it's not great to have big, long comments in there with lots of questions. Honestly, it's difficult for me to find time to answer all of those, but for members, you've got a special email address, and I check that, and I respond in depth and, you know, with an answer every question that you may ask of me. So anyway, that's what membership gets you. There will be a link to the title playlist of Brock's 80s Extravaganza. If I can convert it to a Qobuz, I'll try to. I've got a new program to do that, but I'm not that familiar with it. So at least for the time being, there'll be a title link there. There'll also be a link to the 2 specific songs I talked about. There's also a link to the Community Post playlist where there's some great music. And this will be listed in the Community Post playlist as well as in the video description. You know, there's other affiliate links in there. You know the drill on that. Please comment. Let me know. Where are you at? Are you looking for a nice little one-box solution, you know, maybe for one of your kids, or a dorm room for one of your college student kids, or for yourself in a small room, or on your desktop and you don't have a ton of space? This is really nice for that. Anyway, so that's the Aiyima A80. I think I've said enough. Anyway, please like, subscribe, comment. My name is Ed Homewood. This is the Old Guy Hi-Fi channel, and as I always say, it's now your duty to yourself to put on some beautiful music and sit back and relax. Thank you so very much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day.